Hop-ups are weapon attachments that greatly increase a weapon's effectiveness. As of Season 26, hop-ups are no longer floor loot, meaning you have to unlock them by dealing damage. Hammerpoint rounds massively increase damage dealt to the unshielded target. Basically, once you've cracked someone's shields, the rounds will punish them way harder on health. Weapons include the RE45, P2020, and Mozambique. These weapons are terrifying in close range when the shields are down. These go from throwaway early game pistols to legit finishers. If damage transitions from shield to flesh in a single shot, the same shot gets Hammerpoint rounds bonus damage on the health portion. Disruptor rounds. The opposite of Hammerpoint rounds, Disruptor rounds deal damage bonus to the shields, not health. A famous example of this is the Alternator, but it's also on the RE45. It was pulled from the game because it was too broken on the Alternator. At some point they brought it back with some tuning, and it's a solid pick. Great for opening fights as it takes off shields way better. The Skullpiercer increases the headshot multiplier. For the longbow, it jumps the damage multiplier by 0.35. It goes on the 30-30 repeater, longbow DMR, and wingman. There is also another Skullpiercer variant called the Skullpiercer Elite that goes on the care package wingman. It is exclusive to the care package wingman, and instead of just increasing the multiplier, it always deals 95 damage on the headshot for the wingman, regardless of the helmet the enemy is wearing. Select Fire Receiver. This one fundamentally changes how a weapon fires. On the Prowler SMG, it unlocks full auto, turning a burst SMG into a true full auto machine. On the Havoc, it gives you a single charge fire or hit scan beam. The Havoc beam was famously busted at launch, and the Select Fire Receiver had a long history of being pulled and re-added. It's now back as a locked hop-up, and the mode swapping mechanic is still one of the most interesting gameplay decisions in any gunfight. Select Fire Receiver goes on the Prowler and Havoc. Anvil Receiver turns ARs into semi-auto snipers. Essentially, you shoot one at a time, but it multiplies the damage significantly. 2.5 for the R301 and 2.4 for the Flatline. This hop-up creates a menacing mid to long range weapon that is a lot more punishing. The Anvil Receiver is on the R301 and VK47 Flatline. Double tap is on the G7 Scout and EVA 8 Auto. Double tap gives you a burst fire mode on both of these. The G7 fires 2 bullets in a quick succession with one trigger pull. The EVA 8 gets a second shotgun blast fired right after the first. The EVA 8 is a more impactful one. The double tap essentially lets you dump 2 blasts back to back for massive close range damage, and the G7, like a G6 version, is more of a rhythm weapon, and you have to feel out the timing to clip your shots. Boosted loader for the wingman and a hemlock. The boosted loader massively speeds up reload time, but the twist is if you trigger the reload when there's a small amount of ammo in the mag, you will get a bonus amount of ammo into your magazine. 2 extra for the wingman and 6 extra for the hemlock. Instead of running your gun dry before reloading, you reload early. It's simple, but if you're in the middle of a gunfight, it can be hard to do. Dual shell for the Mastiff shotgun and 30-30 repeater. These weapons reload 1 round at a time normally. They do not have mags, so dual shell makes them load 2 at once. That's it. Your time to reload is drastically reduced, cut in half essentially, and it is very important, especially when you're in close gunfights. The kinetic feeder is on the Peacekeeper and triple take. It automatically reloads your weapon while you're sliding. 1 round per second for the Peacekeeper and 3 rounds per second for the triple take. Combined with the movement of Apex, and you're reloading a lot. Now it's worth noting this hop-up functionally was integrated into the level 4 shotgun bolt or gold shotgun bolt, so it's no longer a separate pickup, but the mechanic is still in the game. Shatter caps are a single fire mode toggle. When activated, your single projectile splits into a shotgun spread of pellets. On the 30-30 repeater and bocek bow, for the 30-30, you go from hard-hitting single round at close range to scatter shot of 7 pellets. For the bocek, the same concept. It sacrifices range for speed. It also adjusts your hit location modifiers too, so leg shots go to 1 times damage, there's no penalty, but your headshots multiplier drops. It changes a sniper adjacent weapon into a shotgun weapon, which changes the engagement of the weapons. This hop-up is now integrated into the bocek. Precision choke on the Peacekeeper and triple take. Precision choke lets you tighten the spread of your shots by aiming down sights. The longer you hold AES, the more focused the shot becomes. For the Peacekeeper, it adds a good amount of poking ability, and for the triple take, you lose the separate pellets and get 1 shot with 3 times the damage. This hop-up is now integrated into both weapons natively. Splatter rounds have an evolving history. It originated as an increased magazine capacity by 15%, essentially mimicking Rampart's modded loader passive, but that was deemed too strong and then it was removed. The hop-up stayed, but it was reworked. This one is worth noting because it depends on the season you're playing. Its current function may differ from from when it was launched. Turbocharger for the Havoc and Devotion. This is one of the oldest and most persistent hop-ups in Apex. The Turbocharger has been in the game for many seasons. It dramatically reduces the spin-up time for both of these guns, which are energy weapons. Without the Turbocharger, the Devotion and Havoc have a noticeable wind-up before they hit their full fire rate. With it, they're essentially instant, and the Havoc spin-up is completely removed. This hop-up made the Havoc and Devotion from OK weapons to top of the meta. Deadeye's Tempo for the bocek and Sentinel. Deadeye's Tempo rewards rhythm. If you time your shots correctly, firing again right as the previous shot is over, your fire rate increases. Essentially, you can shoot faster than the normal weapon cycle shooting if you're locked in. On the bocek, it's pulling back the bow, and on the Sentinel, it's a shot-to-shot timing window. If you miss the window, it goes back to normal speed. If you hit it, you're firing faster each time. Now, both the bocek and Sentinel eventually have this fully integrated, so you don't need to find a hop-up anymore. Quickdraw holster for the Wingman and RE45. The Quickdraw holster reduces your weapon swap time and your ADS time, your hipfire spread. It's a mobility and speed focus hop-up that rewards aggressive swapping for point-blank hipfire. It's the most fleeting hop-up in the game's history. It's only shown in a small number of seasons, but it can still change the way players game. Gun Shield Generator, one of the newer hop-ups added to Apex. It is on the Spitfire, R301, Rampage, Hemlock. The Gun Shield Generator creates a protective shield in front of you when you ADS. The shield absorbs up to 40 damage before it breaks, and it will recharge back to full after 10 seconds of taking no damage. If you're Gibby, your already gun shield gets even more health where this is equipped up to 75. There's a small window from when you pull out your gun to when a shot can actually get through. Also, the hop-up operates on a shared pool between your weapons, so if your shield breaks on one gun, it's on cooldown for both. Accelerator, one of the newer hop-ups in Apex. It varies by season. Some weapons include the Nemesis, G7 Scout, Havoc, Mozambique, Flatline, and more. This hop-up is less about how the gun fires and more about what happens when you use it. It increases the Evo points you gain from dealing damage and increases your ultimate charge rate. Knocks also grant a flat 30% ultimate charge as long as you have the Accelerator weapon equipped. Legends with more game-breaking ults are in the meta, like Gibby, become noticeably stronger when they're getting the charge back from every knockdown. Graffiti mod. This hop-up is on a lot of weapons. The most common spot you'll see this hop-up is at Big Mod on World's Edge. The Graffiti mod was originally leaked years ago in a supply bin during a quest event before it even went live. It officially came back in Season 26 as a locked hop-up, adds spray paint aesthetics to the weapons, but it also has a functional effect to how you deal damage. The hop-up is more of a personality-driven hop-up. It comes with the cosmetic paint color variants, yellow, green, purple, that depend on the weapon. Materia hop-ups. These are exclusive to the Final Fantasy collab event. Red Materia, you will summon a Nessie companion to attack your foes. This goes on the Kraber, Havoc, Mozambique, P2020, and RE45. You can summon up to 2 Nessies, 1 on each equipped gun. This is one of the most meme-worthy and broken materia out of all of them. The yellow materia. Damage enemies to see their remaining health. This is on the Charge Rifle, Sentinel, Rampage, Peacekeeper, G7 Scout, and R99. Purple materia is a crit rate up. Random criticals provide extra damage. Basically, you get random crits. It's on the Longbow, Spitfire, R301, Flatline, Bocek, and Car. Blue materia is HP absorb, damage enemies to heal yourself. It's basically lifesteal. Mastiff, Devotion, Hemlock, Nemesis, 30-30 repeater, and the Wingman. Green materia is lightning. Reload an empty weapon to emit a shock nova, damaging and slowing nearby enemies. This is on the EVA 8 L-Star, Triple Take, Alternator, Prowler, and Volt. Subscribe and I'll open 500 packs on stream right now.